Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Crusader Kings 2 Sons of Abraham. So, you may remember I did a Let's Look at of the Old Gods when that came out back in May of 2013. Sons of Abraham is the new DLC for Crusader Kings. Rather than being $15, it is $10, and it focuses not so much, it's not about like extending the start of the game or the length of the game. You know, the Old Gods brought the start date back almost 200 years, added the Norse religion, a bunch of events, and various playable characters and new scenarios that you could use, along with some other stuff like Great Blots, and etc., etc. This is more focused on religion itself. In particular, Catholicism and Judaism play a pretty integral role here. This is not a DLC that I would consider necessarily as essential as the Old Gods, but it is a DLC that, for a little bit cheaper, does offer some kind of interesting mechanics that kind of add to the CK2 experience and continue to make this, you know, the most current and definitive version of a game that is still very, very good and, you know, weirdly enough inspires me to be a better person. Like, this is the first video game in, like, maybe my entire life that has inspired me to actually read historical texts and learn more. Anyway, you don't need to hear about me being a giant nerd. In any case, we're gonna go, I've got a couple of saves here, so there's a couple of interesting things that Sons of Abraham adds. Given that this is a religious-focused DLC, I'm gonna be playing as two particularly holy entities, if you will, and you probably guessed the first one here. I have a Let's Look at save here from about 25 years after the Stamford Bridge start date, so in the year 1101, where I'm playing as Kaiser Heinrich the Wicked from the Holy Roman Empire. And as you can see, this game has gone pretty well for me so far. I've, you know, annexed Denmark and Hungary and Pomerania, at least most of it, most of England. France is completely gone. Anyway, it's gone very well so far, let's put it that way. So I'm going to load into the game, and as it loads in here, which may take a little while because Fraps is going, or maybe not. It turns out we don't have time to talk about anything, actually. The reason I'm playing as the Holy Roman Empire, and the reason I kind of built it up to this point, is to show off some of the new religious events. So the very first thing I'm going to show off is, if I open up this religious tab, there is now a College of Cardinals. So I've popped this open. This has to deal with Catholicism and the papacy, which is obviously down here in Rome right now, as it is the vast majority of the time when you're playing Crusader Kings 2, unless something crazy happens. And if you've played Europa Universalis 4, it kind of works similar to that. So we have our Pope. This is John Paul I. And we also have the College of Cardinals. And what these are various religious figures and bishops from around the Christian world, or the Catholic world. I apologize, I sometimes use those erroneously to refer to one another. And the way that this works is that essentially there's like three strata here, if you will. There's the Pope, he's on the top. College of Cardinals, number 2. And then there's bishops in the number 3, or the lowest slot. So you fund campaigns for your bishops. It automatically selects your best cardinal candidate. And then as cardinals kind of die off or are promoted to the Pope, or promoted to the papacy, you could say, it takes the next cardinal from kind of like the one that has the most cardinal appointment score, which is largely, as you can see, a 1-to-1 ratio based on how much money you're willing to invest in their campaign fund. In any case, you can see in the College of Cardinals which of the cardinals are loyal to me and which of them are loyal to other people. So as of right now, I have 6 cardinals out of 9, can't make this stuff up, that are loyal to the Holy Roman Empire. And also the Preferatus is loyal to me, which is just the one of these cardinals who is most likely to win the votes, you know, from the College of Cardinals voting after the papacy dies. So if you control the papacy, or a bishop that favors you controls the papacy, you get all sorts of cool religious events, like being able to call crusades and excommunicate people, and etc., etc. As of right now, the reason I wanted to play a little bit further is because, you know, Pope John Paul starts as a relatively young man, but now in my game he is 66 years old, and I own the Preferatus, or I have the loyalty of the Preferatus, which means that if he dies, and that could realistically happen over the course of this video in, you know, 5 to 10 years, then I will be able to see all those events, which would be nice because it's been a while. I'm also doing a plot to kill the Pope. Unfortunately, it's not quite over 100%, so we're going to need to have some time go by before this is going to happen. But the other cool thing is that, you know, we have something to do in the meantime as well. Let me open up my own character here. And one thing you can do in the intrigue menu, there are all sorts of new decisions. So we'll talk about, like, borrow $300 from Jewish merchants and expel the Jewry later. But why don't we just go on a pilgrimage now? Because this is one of a kind of a chain, or a series of new events, or a chain of new events that are unique to Sons of Abraham. So what you can do here is for 42.47, obviously the scale's based on your treasury, I think, or, you know, your holdings. You can go on a pilgrimage, which is a like once-in-a-lifetime journey to one of the holy sites of your religion. I'm not sure if this is available to other religions, but it's definitely available for Christianity. So we gain immediately a little bit of piety. And why don't I just slow down the game a little bit here? Actually, I'm going to speed it up to... I thought it was going to be on level 5. So there's going to be... This is a lot like XCOM Enemy Within in that it just fits over top of Crusader Kings 2 and whatever expansions for that you have. You know, it's very modular, Crusader Kings 2 is. So a lot of this stuff is not necessarily going to be relevant to me talking about the Sons of Abraham, but it is worth noting that CK2 just keeps getting better and better as a result of all of this DLC releasing and, you know, kind of filling gaps that maybe existed in the original game, maybe that we didn't even know were there. So here, unfortunately, my plot to kill the Pope has gotten out. That's pretty bad. As you can see, it's so bad that his opinion of me goes to 0 for 10 years, and also another -10 for 5 years on top of that. But anyway, hopefully we'll still be able to make this happen. So, this is the pilgrimage event chain here. So there are a number of different holy places you could visit on your pilgrimage. All of them are considered most sacred by the Holy Church, but a somewhat closer destination might mean a safer journey. So, we could either go to a holy site in the west. I don't know if this would be, I don't know, Auvergne, or wherever the Amiens, was that where the papacy was installed in French, or Auvergne? I can't remember. Anyway, so we can go to a holy site in the west. Maybe Canterbury would also qualify as one of those. I control those, so you think that would be realistic. Or I can go to one of the ancient sites, Jerusalem or Rome. And I'm not sure if, like, whichever one you go to scales with piety, but why don't we go to one of the ancient sites? So Jerusalem and Rome are the two oldest and holiest places of the Catholic Church. We can either go to Jerusalem, or we can go to Rome and see the tombs of the apostles. Well, you know, Jerusalem, weirdly enough, might be the most friendly place for me, because if I end up going to Rome, obviously, you know, I'm not necessarily the most beloved person there, considering I was just caught trying to kill the Pope. So, Jerusalem is located down here in the Fatimid Empire. So, why don't we go to the Holy Land here? And this may mean a more risky journey. While I'm gone, there should be a regent installed in my place, but we'll see what kind of events we get here. So, cool, my journey begins. So, we have a regent, our spy master, the King Dirk of Frisia. Great name, has been appointed as our regent. So it does become a regency when you're gone, because you could be gone for like a year, for example. And then you get kind of like an adventure style, or choose your own adventure style series of prompts here, like the old wooden bridge has carried many pilgrims in its day. It creaks suspiciously as you step on it. There we go. No time to stop. I'm sure it'll hold. 20% chance to become wounded. Stop and help repair it, or these people deserve a stone bridge. I shall pay for it. What does charitable give us? Diplomacy +3? Yeah, absolutely. I can afford 30 gold. I am, you know, the leader of probably the largest empire in the game right now. So, my liege, my mission to Rome has been a success. During my visit to the court of Pope John Paul I, I seem to have managed to make him understand what a benevolent and pious ruler you are. I find that hard to believe, son. But sure, we get a +30 opinion bonus to him for a while. I know that one of my slothful courtiers is capable of more than he realizes. I want to... Okay, well, you know, this one is not necessarily that important, but we'll go with this. He doesn't like me anymore, because I told him to be more ambitious. As you stop to make camp near a river crossing along with other pilgrims, you observe a group of builders working on a new bridge just upstream. Is this just like Bridget Simulator on this pilgrimage? The Byzantine Empire and the Seljuks and the Fatimid Dynasty really need to work on their engineering feats. You observe a group of builders working on a new bridge just upstream. You walk up to them and see that the arches of the bridge are already half completed. The master builder notices your interest and walks up to you and offers to tell you about the construction techniques they are using. Sure, 30% chance of gain 1 learning. That is fine by me. I always want to better myself. Okay, we've arrived in Jerusalem. Passing by the Mount of Olives, you enter through the city gate and are immediately overcome by a feeling of having made a truly epic journey. The city is filled with people of all creeds and colors, the air heavy with the smells of strange spices and foreign plants. You make your way through the throng of people and animals, excited by the knowledge that you are now close to the Via Dolorosa and the other holy places. You plan to also visit the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, but first you need to find someplace to stay. After all, you wouldn't want to be forced to sleep in a stable, would you? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I apologize for just reading a bunch of this, by the way, but, you know, this is what you're buying with Sons of Abraham, is a lot of event chains like this, and a lot of brand new events. I saw one event on the Paradox Plaza subforum, or just the forums, I guess, no need to say subforum, which is basically like this guy had a daughter, and the daughter ended up being the child of Satan, and then when she ascended to the throne, I think he was in England or Ireland, there were all these, like, everybody wanted to install any other ruler on the throne, because they're like, seriously, dude, your daughter is Satan, or Lucifer, or Damien. And so, like, there was this huge civil war, and actually, like, witches came from Wales and, like, rose up and used sorcery to fight. I don't think this is something that happens all the time, because I know people are really into the historical accuracy of CK2. I've only seen one anecdotal attempt of it, but it's the kind of thing, definitely a little bit on the crazier side, but I'm cool with that as well. Jerusalem, what a fascinating place, a holy place for the 3 great religions, and the city and surrounding area are full of monuments giving tribute to God. Somehow, when you look closer, they don't seem all that different. It rather makes you think, doesn't it? Ooh, so we can either gain sympathy for Judaism or sympathy for Islam. Let's gain sympathy for Judaism because, again, Judaism is one of the things that's being introduced in this expansion. And it would be kind of cool if the Holy Roman Empire converted to Judaism just because it would be such a strange alternate history. I don't know. It is possible to convert to Judaism. You can have Jewish courtiers come to your place and, you know, if you have them educate your child, they will have a chance to become Jewish. There's also one Jewish start in 867, and we will spend a little bit of time playing with that. It's exceptionally difficult, but your goal in that is to recreate the Kingdom of Israel. So we've returned from our pilgrimage here after, you know, maybe 6 months. It's actually a little bit shorter than I thought it was, and this gives us the pilgrim trait where, if I find this here, sympathy for Judaism. I just wanted to see if this conveyed any kind of attribute bonus. It doesn't. It is a special sympathy and understanding for the Jewish faith and its practitioners. Where is pilgrimage? Pilgrim. There we go, pilgrim. So we get plus 0.1 piety monthly as a result of this, which is useful. You know, piety is useful in creating titles, for example, and we want to do a lot of those. We have 17 titles that can currently be created. In the meantime, why don't we check out how our plot to kill the Pope is doing? Ooh, this guy is going to be able to take us pretty close if I send him a small gift of, you know, half of my existing treasury. Then this may take me to exactly 100%, or it may take me slightly under 100, like 99. Oh, we're on exactly 100%. Okay, so this is I need to call up a Roomba because I don't know if this is actually adequate to start a plot into fruition. Like I know it's at 100 that it can work, but it might be like 100.1 where it works, or it might be, you know, 100.0 where it works. In any case, this could happen soon. So that was just my way of demonstrating one of the kind of new decisions that you can make in Crusader Kings 2, Sons of Abraham. So pilgrimages are cool. You can only do them once per life. If I go back to the intrigue menu, you can see that it's gone here. Another thing that has been added, again, Judaism is a major focus, is that, you know, historically, I guess Jewish merchants were money lenders, and that's how they made their trade in some situations. So you can actually, just whenever you want, borrow 300 gold from Jewish merchants. And this is really awesome because maybe you're fighting a civil war or something and you need, you know, you need to hire mercenaries or something like that. Or maybe you really want to build a new castle or something like that because, like me, you only have 2 out of your 8 holdings, but all of your vassals like you, so you don't necessarily want to rock the boat by you know, revoking one of their titles. Or maybe revocation isn't even allowed because you only have minimum crown authority. Anyway, that's probably more technical than we needed to get into here, but it does give you the opportunity to borrow 300 gold easily, and when you do it, it lowers the opinion of your church vassals, because obviously you're, you know, dealing with the Jews in this case, which maybe they were not historically so fond of. And the only thing that matters here, the only condition, is that eventually you have to pay it back, and you have to pay back 50 extra. So you owe the Jews 350 gold if you take this. Now, what you can do after you get the gold is you can expel the Jewry, and this conveys a permanent diplomacy benefit, or a permanent diplomacy detriment, but you never have to pay back the money, at least as far as I know. And, you know, it's worth noting at this point that everything I say is within the context of the game, not within the context of real life. But if I look at the religious map here, sorry, that's not the religious map. If I pull up the religious map here, I'm going to go ahead and guess that the Jews down here in their, like, one county are probably pretty unlikely to send an army over here to kill me, considering, you know, Catholicism owns probably more land than any other religion at this point. It's possible maybe, no, I don't even think Shia or Sunni do. I think, certainly we have the most land, or sorry, certainly we have the most men is what I meant to say. It's possible Orthodoxy might be close, but anyway, not for long, because eventually I will try to take over and annex the Byzantines. So, one thing I was just thinking of is, why don't we maybe show off how to use that Jewish money lendering, or money lendering? Is that really where I was going to go with this? Well, first we'll offer the Pope vacillation. He says no. But then I'll just wait a second here until I actually start gaining a little bit more money, because we need 350 gold to try to assassinate the Pope. This might be one way to speed things up. So why don't we wait until like June here, maybe? Okay, and then I will borrow the money from the Jewish money lenders, like that. And now I can pay back the loan if I wanted to, or I could take a shot at assassinating the Pope. We have a 30% chance of success. I like those odds. Let's give it a try. My killers failed to slay Pope John Paul, but my involvement remains unknown. All right, that's pretty unfortunate, but, you know, now I'd be like, ooh, I don't really have the 350... Ooh, someone dropped out of the plot here. God damn it. I don't really have the 350 gold to pay them back, so maybe I will just, expel them from the land here. This is something I've never done, actually, so let's see how this works. You've decided to expel all Jews from your realm. After your guards round the Jewry up, they are forced to depart in yet another large exodus for lands more friendly to their kind. They are allowed to keep many of their belongings, but you confiscate much of their gold. So I lose 100 prestige, not a big deal considering I have 11,000. We also get an extra 200 gold. And oh no, I've lost my chancellor who was actually Jewish. Occasionally there will be random events that will send a, I'm going to fabricate a claim on the papacy. There will be random events that will send a Jewish courtier to your realm, and again, you could use him. Usually, I believe they're meant to be like exceptional people, so this guy had like a really high diplomacy skill, so I made him my chancellor. You could also use him to educate your child, for example, and then possibly convert to Judaism later in their life. Maybe. So I'm just going to take a quick look at the intrigue menu here. We're at 94%. Why are these people not interested? Base reluctance is too high, not willing to join the plot. Probably because we're trying to kill, you know, who is the servant of God on Earth itself. Anyway, the cook and I did not really plan to humiliate Richara. We only wanted her to realize how her paranoia made everybody's life more difficult than it should be. Okay. Sure. This is kind of not where I intended to go with this. I intended for the Pope to die, but obviously, you know, in Crusader Kings 2, things fire at differential rates. We don't have the Preferatus anymore, but by just investing a bunch into our campaign fund here and taking us up to probably 674, there you go. I can get, not Preferatus, sorry, we still have the Preferatus, but we did not have the expected next cardinal, so I just invested another 120 gold. Now I will have another cardinal next time one of these guys moves up or dies, etc., etc. How old is this guy? He's 67. He doesn't like me very much either, which, you know, quite honestly is pretty fair. Well, what should we do then? I will show off that Jewish start, but I would like to conquer, you know, another kingdom if possible. As the Holy Roman Empire, I'm not trying to brag about how this game is going. It was really, really easy to expand as far as the Holy Roman Empire in 25 years. I guess we're closing in on 30 years, but it's really easy to do, easier than I've ever had a time in this game with any other start. Maybe the Byzantines would also be okay, but actually they border the Turks, whereas opposed to the Holy Roman Empire, you don't really border that many strong states. Like, I took over Hungary in like 10 seconds, I took over France in like 10 seconds, England similarly, they were chopped up a little bit, but anyway, that's kind of irrelevant. Let's see if there's any claimants on the Kingdom of Poland that would be interested in allowing me to invite them to my court. Apparently the answer to that question is no. Any claimants on the Kingdom of Croatia that would be interested in having me come to that? Okay. Because I have a false religion, I think. No, wait. These should be Catholics. Absolutely, the Polish and the Croatians should be Catholics here. What about Sweden? Is there any way I could... Well, let's just try to declare war first, just in case I've accidentally got... well, it's like one county. I don't go to war to claim one county as the Holy Roman Empire. I go to war to claim whole kingdoms. Sadly, why are these guys not interested? You are... let's go with courtier here. Invite to court. No, because... No reason to move and base reluctance. No reason to move. How about 20 gold? And then I invite you to my court. This is really stupid, actually, because she is a woman, and I can't change my laws to allow her to inherit land. I need to give them land in order to declare war. So let's try to conquer Sweden quickly. It may not be possible. Let me just go up here and see if there's any male claimants who... he's the Prince of Sweden. He's the Prince of Sweden. Yeah, let's go with this guy, but let's see... how far away is he? Oh, he's way far away. He's at -6 or 7 and only +5. And I don't think a gift will do it, but we might as well send it just for the purposes of this video. That sucks. Okay, we'll quickly check Norway. Otherwise, we may just pop into that Jewish start. What can I say? I'm a little bit bloodthirsty here. So, Kingdom of Norway. We have some males. Well, like 2 males. No, 1 male. The rest are females. This is the unfortunate part. I really want to change my laws to allow women to inherit so that I can invite them to my court and then press their claims. But sadly, no such luck. We also do not have a claim on the papacy. We could offer them vassalization, but he'll say no. All right, well, that's basically, I think, the most kind of obvious additions to the Catholic side of Sons of Abraham. Why don't we quickly resign here? I'll save the game because I'm content with where this is at right now. So I do want to continue this game to see how it looks, because I really want to see what happens with the papacy when you actually manage to either kill the Pope or the Pope dies and your Preferatus gets elected. Like, for example, what I could do maybe is... after the Pope dies, if I have the Preferatus, I can ask for a crusade. Maybe I can do a crusade on the Fatimids down here, a crusade for Jerusalem, perhaps, and recover that as a holy site. Or, I'm not even sure if you can do a crusade for Byzantium, because Orthodoxy and, like, Catholicism are branches of the same religion, I think. But definitely, you know, for the Turks down here, I could. Or, not the Turks, sorry, the Fatimids. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Fuck it, I guess I declare, you know, a crusade on Cumania if I want to. But regardless, I'm going to call this the post look at save, and we'll just save this up here. So that is, you know, the way that Sons of Abraham, like the first half of it kind of layers over top of the existing game. So it just kind of fits in, again, kind of enemy within style, and adds a little bit, makes it a little bit more of a robust experience, especially from a religious angle, which is cool because, you know, religion is something that largely I'd pretty much ignored in Crusader Kings 2 up to this point, except when it was convenient for me, and now there's more of a reason to pay attention to it. So, the other thing it adds, again, I've mentioned that it adds Judaism. If I actually switch to the religious map, as you can see here, it's 1 or 2 Jewish starts. Both of them are going to lead to us getting destroyed, like right off the bat. As you can see, it's like one Jewish county, or it might be a duchy. No, it's a county, in just a sea of Tengri, and then, you know, Orthodoxy, you butt up right against it. Sunni, you butt up right against Zoroastrian, kind of like less of a concern, I guess. But still, the chips are stacked against you. This is the Old God start. I think there's one of the Stamford Bridge start, too. There is. And you butt up against Orthodoxy again, in this case. So let's go to the 867 start, and we'll play as the one Jewish county that stays there for the 1066 start as well. Is it still there? Maybe it's like all the way through. No, it's not all the way through the game. Where does that Jewish start disappear? It's not there at the Third Crusade. It is there at the Alexiad, though. Anyway, let's go to the Old God start, though. That gives us the most amount of time. Actually, you know what? Maybe it'd be better to go for the Stamford Bridge start, because then... I'm just trying to think here. Is this guy Jewish? I own this land as well? No, he's our liege. Oh, in this case, I believe never mind. Okay, 867 start, because we're an independent Jewish ruler. Okay, so we're going to start here. Disregard this. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, as we boot in here, you will see, this is still the religious map. You can see that we are Jewish here. And not just in this county, actually. We own all of Khazaria, which is not all Jewish. I could use my court chaplain to maybe set that up. But anyway, much of it is Tengri and converting as we speak. Now, why is this so difficult? Well, first off, if I look at my vassals, we have some vassals who are Jewish. But we also have some vassals, as you can see, who are Orthodox. We may even have a Christian vassal in here. I'm not sure. We don't. But not all of our vassals are the same religion. In fact, many of them, we probably have Tengri ones as well. So basically, they have like a massive negative penalty to us as a ruler because we're different religions. And in fact, we're the only ruler on the map that actually has this religion. We also start with our domain size being too big, which is probably because my rolled stewardship stat, is 0, which is pretty nasty. But if I go down here, I can find something that we hold. So let me find a county that we hold. County of Sarpa. Okay, that's acceptable. I will give that away to someone in my court. Can I give that to my wife? I'm not sure of the laws here. Nope, okay. So, you know, most of my courtiers hate me as well. Why? False religion, I'm guessing? No, actually. Okay. Let's give it to a courtier, not our marshal. So I'll give you this county of Sarpa here. Okay, so that's one reason why it's difficult, you know, internal politics. The second reason why it's difficult, external forces. If I go to my independent realms thing here, we are surrounded by Tengri, especially if I go to the religious map, you can see that. So we have the Pechenegs right on top of us, the Cumanians just to our east, the Magyars right next to us as well. These are all very strong forces at the 867 start. Now, Khazaria, it's pretty big. We also start with 2,200 event troops, which is cool. But this is like, the way I kind of see this part of Sons of Abraham is like, this is like, oh, you don't think the game's easy, or you don't think the game's difficult enough? This is like your hardcore mode start. This is like the purest challenge in the Binding of Isaac or something like that. And in its own way, I kind of feel like this is the most novel part of Sons of Abraham, is this kind of new, unique start, which is exceptionally difficult to kind of proceed in. So I do believe that with your ambitions here, eventually you will have the opportunity, why I'm clicking poorly here, to become to recreate the Kingdom of Israel. That might be in the intrigue menu, actually. Yeah, okay, so we can recreate Israel. These are like our Jewish special events here. So we can create Israel. That requires us to control all of these emirates down here, again, that are currently owned, in this case, I guess, by the Abbasids. Build the third temple. This requires you to own Jerusalem and then pay 1,500 gold and 1,500 piety, which is crazy. It also gives you 500 prestige and 500 piety, though. Hold a grand tournament is, of course, you know, normal kind of special event for everybody. And celebrate Passover. So this is at least something we can do. We're going to keep our special event troops here, and we're not going to do much else. Just because I want to, I might as well give ourselves a court rabbi, I guess. I'm not sure where I'll send him, but he could at least, you know, improve religious relations or convert the populace or something like that. We may die here. Usually the way that this works is we get an invasion called on us by the Pechenegs and the Cumanians and maybe even the Magyars, because Basically, everyone around us right now has a holy war casus belli because we're Jewish. So, you know, the Tengri can declare a holy war on us. The Orthodoxy can declare a holy war on us, etc., etc. So, you know, there's issues, shall we say. But what I am doing here, here we go. Who's this? It's the Pechenegs, as intended. Your low character is the subject of Greek plays. This is a formal declaration of war. Our armies shall meet on the field of battle. All right, so be it. I have, you know, substantially less than the 43,000 troops that I had when I was playing as the Holy Roman Empire a little bit earlier. So why don't we just have our troops come down here? And this is why I say that the odds are stacked against you. You can see, oh, they've already punched into my territory. Arumba told me how to actually survive this. But we're going to send our troops basically into the Caucasus here. I think these are the Caucasus anyway, and make sure our best martial level troops are here, which they are. And we're just going to run them away, basically, and hope that our men can survive. Of course, we have dangerous factions showing up as well. Okay, so we're probably actually going to lose right now, unless, you know, the most miraculous thing of all time happened. Let's just surrender this war right away. I know this is going to give you guys PTSD and memories of my surrender in the series that we did with Mathis and Arumba, but we'll see how much territory he gets. He only gets occupied territory, I think, in a holy war. We'll see. Yeah, I lost a lot, but at least I'm still alive. But what I was going for here is at least we can survive long enough to celebrate Passover, which costs us 8 gold, but may give us a special event chain as well. More than 2,000 years ago, God aided the children of Israel in their escape from slavery by inflicting 10 plagues upon ancient Egypt. The last of these saw a spirit of the Lord slay every firstborn in Egypt, but Passover, Jewish homes marked with the blood of slaughtered lambs. This festival celebrates the return of freedom to the enslaved Jewish people. So I only have 3 vassals. Those are the only people who get an invitation to my Seder. He refused my invitation, saying he has other plans. He refused my invitation, claiming he has other plans. Can I at least have one person? We'll at least have a private dinner. And basically this is kind of like, well, I'll just finish the event text here. The Seder dinner has begun as is traditional on the first night of the Passover. Matzah flatbread is consumed in liberal amounts together with bitter major herbs. Everyone is required to drink 4 cups of wine, each at a specific point during the Seder, as the story of the Exodus from Egypt is retold and discussed. Pass the matzah, please. And now the, Passover is over. So what's cool about this is that this is an easy way for us to get extra prestige and piety. In particular, piety, which is sometimes hard to come by. Gaining 100 of it every single year just for a relatively low gold cost as you fire that event to do Passover is very useful. And it makes piety a little bit more of a currency that you can kind of curry in, I think. It also gives you the opportunity to increase your vassals' opinions of you, but this is, you know, the same as like holding a great feast as a Catholic or a Norse ruler or something like that, or the Great Blot, for example. So that might be where I end the episode here. You know, you might be saying, oh, I want to see more of this Jewish start. This is going to take, 1,000 years for me to get to, it's fine. Oh my God. See, like already you can see the difficulty of this Jewish start. This is not bad luck. Oh God, there's the Cumanians, Chief Abba of Don Portage. Don Portage? Oh, so it's another kind of branch of the Pechenegs? How can he declare war on me? I just surrendered to them. I don't know. Anyway, this is not an unusual start as the Khazarians, like the only Jewish start in the game. This is the norm. You spend a lot of time kind of getting jerked around, and basically it's just it's a game of survival to start with. Anyone who can start with the Khazarians and end up recreating the kingdom of the kingdom of Israel is a glorious player, in my opinion at least. Cool, we've converted some people to the Jewish faith. If we can manage to survive, even if we don't manage to fight these guys off very well, it's possible we can come back from this. But I really like that it does have this kind of new start, because it is a gross challenge. Look, we're already being declared war on by another. I guess maybe the Pechenegs are having a war with them simultaneously, and that's why they're independent and declaring war on me, because I'm an easy target right now. In any case, we'll probably end it here, but I love that there's this new start that is super hardcore for players who, are up to the task, and also, it has some historical benefit, and it creates this weird kind of alternate history, which is also really cool, and one of my favorite parts about Crusader Kings 2. So let's wrap this up. It's been about a half hour. Weirdly enough, a half hour, of course, with Crusader Kings 2 and any expansion for it is just enough to scratch the surface. That being said, this is Sons of Abraham. It's available for $10. Let's compare this and contrast this with the Old Gods. It is not as robust as the Old Gods. It doesn't add any more time to the game, which is honestly... the number of Crusader Kings 2 campaigns I've played that have lasted longer than 150 years is probably like 2%. So I don't need like an 800-year campaign, but I can understand why people would want it, because there are people, that conquer the whole world or, try to keep the whole world conquered for 500, 600 years. In any case, it's not as essential as the Old Gods either, I would say. In the same way that, you know, XCOM Enemy Unknown was its own game, and that's cool, and I kind of feel like we'll equate that to the Old Gods in this situation. And this is more like Enemy Within, that just kind of fits over top. That being said, for $10, this does add a lot to the game, and it really fleshes out the religious aspect. I honestly think that for $10, like, you get that value in that Jewish start alone, because that is going to give me hours and hours of playtime tearing what little hair I have left out of my head, trying to figure out how to actually, you know, create a Jewish power in the world, which is probably going to be extremely unlikely. But for if you accept that start from things, then it really just fleshes out the religious aspect for other religions, particularly Catholicism, at least from what I've played so far. And the College of Cardinals stuff is welcome. It's cool to go on a pilgrimage. You know, it just gives you something more to do once per life. It's kind of like when you're a Norse person, when you commission a runestone. You know, that's not necessarily something that adds a ton to the game, but it's a nice little flavor text that helps to benefit your immersion. So, I would, if there's like 3 strata, I guess I should call this episode 3 strata of Crusader Kings 2 DLC, and at the top you have like the Old Gods, which adds a ton of content and you know, a ton of time to the game as well, and then at the bottom you have things like Norse beards, or, you know, like songs that I'm not necessarily into but don't begrudge anybody for purchasing. This is definitely in that kind of middle strata, which I would not consider, like, if you're only tangentially interested in Crusader Kings 2, or you've lost your love for it. Is this going to bring you back the way the Old Gods might have brought you back after not playing for a few months? Probably not, but if you're already into Crusader Kings 2, I think for $10 this will really enhance your experience with the game. So that's my thoughts on it so far. I definitely recommend it if you are still playing Crusader Kings 2. If you haven't played Crusader Kings 2 yet, look out for a sale. You know, I hate to say don't buy this at full price because I've spent over 100 hours in it, but it's a love it or hate it game, but if you love it, you will lose your whole life to it. Pick up Crusader Kings 2 when you see it in a sale. It is goddamn great, and all of the DLC that has come out this year has added a lot to it, in my opinion. But in any case, as always, thanks for watching. There will be a link to the Steam store page to pick up Sons of Abraham on Steam if you're interested. The opening week sale may be over by this time, but it's only a difference between $9 and $10, basically. Not between, you know, it being $10 and it being $20. Opening week sale is like $8.99. Full retail price is $9.99, so not an enormous deal, I guess, in the whole scheme of things. But in any case, click that link if you want to pick up the game on Steam. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. It does help support my series a lot. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more first impressions on games like this in the future. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.